Protection against liability for reporting persons. Legal protections and handling of transactions following suspicious transaction reports, STRs. Legal protections for reporting suspicious transactions. Financial institutions, FIs, including their board members, employees, and authorized representatives, are shielded from administrative, civil, or criminal liability when they act in good faith to report suspicious activities to the Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU. This protection applies even if the specific underlying criminal activity is unknown and regardless of whether illegal activity actually occurred. However, this protection does not extend to the unlawful disclosure of the fact that a report has been made or will be made, the information or data contained in the report, the existence of an ongoing investigation related to the transaction, handling of transactions and business relationships after filing STRs. Upon reporting a suspicious transaction or related suspicious information about a customer or business relationship to the FIU, the following immediate actions are required. 1. Compliance with FIU instructions. Obligation: FIs must follow any instructions provided by the FIU concerning the specific transaction and the broader business relationship. High-risk classification: the customer or business relationship must be classified as high-risk, and enhanced due diligence, EDD, and ongoing monitoring procedures should be implemented to manage the associated risks. Termination of the relationship is not mandatory. 2. FIU instructions. Receiving instructions. The FIU may issue specific instructions, request additional information, or provide feedback related to the STR or the business relationship. Such communications are usually directed to the designated AML/CFT compliance officer of the FE. Confidentiality. The compliance officer is responsible for coordinating prompt compliance with FIU instructions and may be required to keep certain information privileged and confidential. This could include restrictions on sharing details with anyone beyond senior management or the board of directors. Regardless of these restrictions, the FE must adhere to the compliance officer's directives for follow-up actions. 3. Timing of FIU instructions. Uncertain timing. The timing for FIU instructions or requests for additional information depends on factors such as the prioritization of STRs, the results of analysis, or the need for exchanges with other competent authorities or international FIUs. Transaction delays. FIs should attempt to delay the execution or completion of transactions to allow for feedback or instructions from the FIU. Measures to avoid tipping off the customer may include delaying processing without explanation, advising the customer of unspecified operational issues, requesting additional documentation or information, informing the customer of lost paperwork or pending internal approvals. 4. Reporting additional suspicion. New suspicion. Any new suspicions that arise during the delay period should be reported to the FIU as a follow-up to the original STR. Examples include new adverse information about the transaction or business relationship, unusual customer behavior due to the transaction delay, such as attempts to force transaction completion or abrupt changes in transaction details. 5. No instructions from FIU. Handling without instructions. If no feedback or instructions are received from the FIU within a reasonable time frame, FIs must assess how to handle the STR and business relationship based on risk factors. They should reassess the risk and customer profile, consider enhanced due diligence or background investigations, decide whether to maintain or terminate the business relationship, informing the FIU of termination intentions unless officially objected. 6. Reasonable time period. Variable time frames. There is no fixed processing time for receiving feedback from the FIU. Factors influencing what is considered a reasonable time period include the transaction's complexity, type of customer, and the FE's business nature. General guidelines: for simpler transactions, a shorter time frame is expected, whereas more complex transactions may require longer. FIs should consult the FIU or supervisory authorities for further guidance if needed. 7. High-risk classification and control measures. High-risk classification: when an STR is filed, the associated business relationship should be classified as high risk. If no FIU feedback is received, FIs maintaining the relationship should document decision-making processes and rationale, implement EDD measures and additional control measures, such as requiring extra documentation, restricting product or service use, or imposing transaction limits. Approval and documentation: EDD and control measures should be documented and approved by senior management, including conditions for removal and responsibilities for implementation and monitoring.